Today on Catholic Forum, I'm very happy to welcome a transitional deacon for the Diocese of Wilmington, John Enemou. And John he's going to be ordained to the priesthood in about a month, sometime in May 20th, correct?
Yes.
At the Cathedral of St. Peter. And we're going to get to know you a little bit, John. So let's start things off. Tell us about this last year, your diaconate year. What have you been doing?
So, how about I start with my full name?
Sure. Yeah, please do, because I tried, but I just could not pronounce it. So please give us your full name so everybody knows who you are.
My name is Onyedikachukwu Chibondo John Enemou. Onyedikachukwu means who is like God, which is Michael in Hebrew. So, then Chibondo is God is life, and John is my confirmation name.
And that it helps people like me. What do your friends call you?
I think my names are like depending on where the stage of life that I was. Like, if someone calls me Chibondo, I would know that the person knew me from grade school.
Right.
If you call me Onyedika, then it means that the person met me probably in my last during my time with declarations and so my college seminary.
Mm-hmm.
So if you call me that, I know that's where you know me from.
Right.
And if you call me John, obviously you know me from US.
Right. Well, it's a beautiful name, beautiful meaning. So, but you don't mind if I call you John or Deacon John?
Perfect.
Okay, very good. Soon to be Father John. That would be great. So tell us about this last year.
The past year has been an experience for me, being in school and also working at a parish, because it's one of these programs we do when we're in school. You get to be assigned a parish to be working at. So what was funny is that I was working at St. Margaret of Scotland over the summer, and when I went back to school, I was assigned to St. Margaret of Scotland in Bel Air.
Oh, wow.
So I went from St. Margaret to St. Margaret. But over each time I'm back to the diocese or on break or something, I'm helping out at St. Margaret of Scotland. So it's been an experience getting to do the sacraments. You know, it's one thing to learn about the sacrament, another thing is to doing it.
Right.
It was quite an experience for me doing first baptism.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I felt, but I felt that something was different. From the day of my ordination, when I got off on that floor, there's something totally different that took place. It's not physical,
Right.
but at the end of the day, I knew that something different happened. It was a different person lying down, a different person stood up.
Wow.
You know? So it's been an experience doing the sacrament, especially then preaching at from the altar. You know,
Yeah.
preaching. It is a special gift to do.
Do you enjoy preaching?
I do.
Yeah.
I love preaching.
How about weddings? Have you done some weddings?
I have done wedding preparation, but I've not done any wedding.
Right.
I assisted in one,
Mm-hmm.
but I've not done one myself.
Funeral,
A lot of it.
a lot of those. Yeah. Yeah. Great. All while you were going to school during the week at St. Mary's Seminary in Baltimore, then working at St. Margaret's in Bel Air on the weekends, right?
Yeah, over the summer I did a lot of funerals and then baptism as well.
Mm-hmm.
Then over at Margaret of Scotland in Bel Air, I do more of preaching because it's weekend that we help out at the parish. So
What were some of your favorite courses in the seminary?
this year,
Or just in general, what did you like the
any
most?
course that has to do with systematics, I love it so much. Like ecclesiology, doctrine of God, prayer and priesthood, those courses that has Mariologies, I love them.
Mm-hmm.
Systematics is the branch of theology that I love so much.
Yeah. You mentioned that when you were ordained to the diaconate a year ago, there was a different person that laid down on that floor, a different person that stood up.
Mm-hmm.
So as your priesthood ordination approaches, how are you feeling? Are you feeling that there'll be another different person that stands up from the floor, do you think?
I think that person that stood up is being modified to the final stage of the destination it's heading to.
Right.
So I think he's going to be the same person, but wearing up the complete regalia of who he is and who he's meant to be.
Right, right. Are you nervous?
There is always there's always that nervous part of someone if you are getting to do something that you are not used to,
right,
or something that is totally new to you. So it's just the unknown.
Yeah, so you're probably more nervous here today doing this than you will at your ordination.
I think so. I am more nervous here than the day of my ordination.
Looking back at your time in formation, and you were part of a religious community before you came to the United States, correct?
Yes.
So your formation has been it's been a long journey. Mm-hmm. How old are you? Do you mind me asking?
I am 32. I'll be 33 by September.
Okay. So it's been what, about a 12-year journey?
I would say it's more than that, because the first time I entered into the seminary, like a place called Seminary, I was 14, going on 15.
Right.
So if you put it together, it's more than that.
It's more than that. It's half your life, or almost half your. Well, yeah,
it's
a little bit more than half your life.
So.
Yeah, math is not my strong point. So.
Neither is mine.
So, who have been your mentors during that long journey to where you are today?
So at different stage in my life, I have met some amazing people. The first are my parents, my mom and dad. God love them. My mom and my dad set up they set us on the right path when we were kids. Even up to today, they still check up on each and every one of us. So we wake up in the morning and we say our morning prayers together, and then we go to daily mass, come back, get ready for school, and head to school. My mom was a teacher. She's retired now. My dad is a businessman, but we must go to that daily mass.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't care how much sleepy you feel. You gotta carry that sleep to church. So at night we come together again before we go to bed. 10 o'clock every night is the time for night prayers. You'll be coming out from your room at least 9:58, so that you'll be in the living room before 10 o'clock. And we say the rosary together most often every night, unless we had a hectic day, then we can say some spontaneous prayers. But yes, my parents were the first that and they will always be my mentor.
Do you have many siblings?
So we're five.
Five.
I have 3 other brothers and 1 sister. Mm-hmm.
Good. So they were your first formers
yes.
in the faith, your parents.
They are.
How about later in life?
So after my parents was my teacher, who was my teacher. It's a reverend sister who taught me in my 5th and 6th grade. Mm-hmm. So she had a lot of us, started thinking about going into seminary and convent. And it's funny that I was the only person who did not go into the seminary at that time. The rest went into the seminary and they went into seminary and convent. But I'm the last person. And that last person ended up being the only person who is being ordained a priest. She makes fun of it. Sometimes I speak with her on phone and she'll be like, I can't believe that you, of all people.
God works in mysterious ways.
He does. So she was the second person, so amazing woman that took care of us as kids and taught us a lot of stuff as children. Mm-hmm. Grew up knowing her, and still today, almost all my classmates still keep in touch with her.
Wow, that's amazing.
It is. Yeah. Even when she was transferred to Rome, she went to Rome for 4 years. She was in Rome. She always reached out to each and every one of us to know how we're doing. So.
Wow, that's amazing.
She was the second person, and the third was. And still, my spiritual director in Nigeria still communicates with him, Reverend Father Chibo, Augustine Chibo. So he was assigned as an associate at my home parish, at my parish in the city where my parents live. And from the day I met him, I felt like I need to be confiding in him, and he welcomed me as a son. And yeah, even throughout my journey in the seminary, going out and coming back in, going out and coming back in, so he was all there.
Yeah.
You know.
And will he be able to come to your ordination?
No,
Your parents as well?
no.
No, that's a shame.
Yeah, but I guess sacrifice comes with a lot of sacrifice on his own side.
Yeah.
It would have been awesome to have my parents, but it's not their fault that they're not coming. Neither it is mine.
Right.
But I tried my best. They tried their best too.
Yeah.
But I know they're happy for me, and they.
Well, your ordination will be live streamed,
It
so
will be
they
live
they can
streamed.
watch from
Yes.
From home.
Mm-hmm.
Your whole family, your whole town could watch if
Yes.
they wanted to. So that's
Exactly.
great.
Yeah. So since, but after I came to the U.S., like I said, I kept in touch with my spiritual director. But I came to the U.S. since I've been here and been in the diocese. I moved from Ohio to here. It has been an amazing priest here in the diocese. I met with Father Carroll. The first priest I met with Father Murphy, who has been my mentor,
Yeah.
has been there for me.
Good.
Always encouraging me in my vocation. The vocation director, the best you can get as the vocation director. He really, really was there for me and still there for me, and I know he will always be there for me. Father Roger, the first priest I worked with, all the priests that I've worked with, Father James Lentini, Father Nolan, and currently Father Ed Ogden. So they have been mentors in their own different ways, and I really appreciate working with them.
My guest today on Catholic Forum is Deacon John Enemou. Did you want to put your full name in there, Deacon?
You're good.
Okay, good. Deacon John, what are some of your favorite saints and why?
So Teresa of the Child Jesus, because praying for the priests and for mission and for ministry, is the doing little things in an extraordinary way has always been my thing. And from the very first day I read about Saint Teresa, and she is.
That's great.
I can add St. Patrick's because he's a patron saint of Nigeria, and his missionaries came to Nigeria. So anything that has to do with like mission, I am really interested in it. But my favorite saint is Saint Teresa of Child Jesus.
How about favorite devotionals? You mentioned that you would say the Rosary every night. The Rosary is still your favorite?
Yes.
Yeah. There's a lot of grace that comes from the Rosary.
It is.
Yeah. And
I love it.
yeah. So, looking forward to your ordination, what are you looking forward to the most as you begin your priesthood?
First is to get ordained.
Right. Right. After the ordination, you think it'll be, what are you looking forward to doing the most?
Working with the people of God, which is the primary thing. I love the ministry of presence. It's very important to me. Being there for the people of God to assist them spiritually and morally, try to encourage them and help them in their faith. Because the more you help the people of God, the more you help yourself too. Salvation is two ways. And if I minister to you, I'm ministering to myself, because I should be able to be listening to myself while I minister to you.
Right.
So looking forward to performing all the sacraments and celebrating the Eucharist.
Yeah. I can imagine that must be the most awesome thing for a priest to do.
It is.
We mentioned that you're from Nigeria, and a couple of weeks ago on this program, I had an author who wrote a book about Christian persecution, and he said that the most dangerous place for Christians right now in the world is Nigeria. That it's the Christians there live under quite a lot of stress and a lot of danger. What would you say are the root causes of Christian persecution around the world and particularly in Nigeria?
So, I don't know about Nigeria being the worst place for Christians,
Okay.
because if it is, there'll be no growth of Christianity in Nigeria on a daily basis. So that I do not know where.
Right. That was his opinion. So yeah,
It's
yeah.
probably his opinion.
Yep.
Because if you check, even in the northern part of Nigeria, which is Muslim section, there's still a lot of Christians in the north.
Right.
It used to be higher higher Muslims and then lower Christian, like say 60-40% in the north. But the number has increased despite the persecutions. But what I always say is that persecution of anybody at all, you know, irrespective of your faith, is wrong. But when it comes to Christians, because this is who we are, and we preach the faith and then the truth, it is condemnable, like in any aspect at all. When it comes to Nigeria, there's a lot involved in that. There's a lot of things involved, because even in the northern part of Nigeria, where Christians are being persecuted, Muslims are being killed too. So
It's not just a religion thing. It's a political.
It's political. That's where I'm getting to. So
Yeah.
it is more political than it is religious.
Yeah.
It is more political, because the Boko Haram, it has nothing to do with religion. The word Boko Haram is Western civilization or education is evil. So there's no way Christianity came into that.
Right.
So it's like a way of impoverishing the people in the north, because the highest impoverishment you can do to someone is denying the person education. So we don't want you to be educated. We want you to not be educated. So you cannot stand up for yourself.
Right.
You know, you try to enslave somebody mentally. So once you enslave someone mentally, you have enslaved the person entirely. So that is actually what is going on.
Yeah.
Like I always tell people, like, I worked in the northern part of Nigeria. I was assigned to do summer assignments in the northern part of Nigeria. I'm from the east, so for my state, if I'm driving up north, the closest north to me is like 12 to 13 hours drive.
Wow.
So Nigeria is a big
country. Yeah. Big country.
If you put California and Texas together, you can then get to Nigeria. So
Wow.
it's a big country. It's not just a little area. So when I was there was a funeral that I assisted. So I assisted with that funeral, but the person didn't die in that hometown. He died in Abuja, which is the capital of Nigeria. And from that place to that hometown, it's at least 4 to 5 hours drive. So a young lady came in there, followed that body from Abuja down to their village. And what was she carrying? It was carrying a bomb. So it's just a suicide mission, you know, just to kill everybody who is going to attend that. It doesn't matter who the person is. Obviously, when you go to funeral, not everybody is Catholic, not everybody is Christian, even at funerals. So, and in that village, it's not everyone that are Christians. She came there with that, fixing it in her room, and told the mother not to go to the funeral because she has some visitors coming. The mother waited and waited. There's no visitor, and she got worried and started knocking at the door. The door is locked, so she raised an alarm. And then young people in the village came together and then break into the hamlet to find her with that. And she was transported from there immediately to by the military and stuff. So it is not really, it doesn't have to do with a Christian or something like that.
It's mostly
political.
Political.
You know, raise dust somewhere so that people will just run away and not do that. That's why, if it has to do with Christians, why are they kidnapping the children from school? None of those schools, not all of them are Catholic schools.
Right.
So it's political issue, and it has to do with let's impoverish their mind. And those things do not go on. Like in the East, we don't have Muslims. That's the thing. So Nigeria is divided in regions based on their religion. The eastern part of Nigeria is mostly Catholic and Anglican. So.
So what can we do as American Catholics to help the folks in Nigeria? Pray for them, I would think, would be the
That's
best thing.
the major thing. I mean, we have to keep praying because I think persecution everywhere in the world. I think we need too much prayers we
Yeah.
can get, and a lot of prayers we can get. Like
Yeah.
I keep praying that one day, people can come to their senses that why do I have to deny another person freedom to do whatever you want to do?
Yeah.
So it is persecution of Christians. Is it persecution of people? It's a political thing. So
Yeah.
I try not to go deeper into it
Right.
because there's
Sure.
when it comes to politics, there's more thing
Right.
to expect than what you see on the outside.
Right.
So,
Absolutely. Most things are more than you see on the
yeah.
on the outside.
So,
So, one last question as your ordination approaches. Is there anybody that you'd like to thank or say hello to or whatever who might be watching this or listening to this?
well, let me start from saying thank you to Father Dave Murphy, who was there for me from the first day we met at Fatima, which is my home parish. I was going to Fatima before I became a seminarian for the diocese. He has been my spiritual bedrock and everything. I also want to thank Father Carol, who has been there. He knows. He knows more than I should say. But God bless him for always being there.
Good.
To my parents in New Jersey, Linda and Jason Fletcher, they took me in. I started living with them before I entered the seminary. I was living in an apartment in Newcastle, paying but they saw me, they met me, and they're like, can you come and stay with us? We have a room. And
Isn't that nice?
It is
Yeah.
so amazing of them. So God bless them. I really appreciate them every day. They may not know how much I do, but I certainly do.
Yeah.
Each time I come back from school, I have a room. I have somewhere to go.
That's nice.
So I really appreciate them from the bottom of my heart. And I keep praying for them every day.
Awesome.
God bless them so much.
So May 20th, Cathedral of St. Peter in Wilmington.
It is
11 a.m.?
11 a.m.
And if you can't be there in person, you can watch it on the Diocese of Wilmington's YouTube channel.
Yep.
And so, very good.
Can I say one more?
Absolutely.
Thank you
Yes,
to
please do.
Father Roger.
Father Roger, of course.
Father Kirk. A lot of our priests have been there for
Yeah,
me.
that's good.
And the last but not the least, the bishop.
Yeah. You have
Bishop Meluli and Bishop
Koenig, yeah.
They've been there for me.
And where will your first Mass be? Fatima?
Fatima.
Yeah.
At noon.
At noon. Very good.
21st of May.
Deacon John Enemou, it was good seeing you again. We wish you continued blessings as your ordination to the priesthood approaches.
Thank you so much. Thank you.